The only thing that is really worthy of getting chatted about right now is that Justin Fields is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Adam Schefter said that yesterday, pretty much. AJ, that's
Shefty said Tomlin is a big fan, correct?
Yes, Tomlin's a big fan. Obviously, Artie Smith has been linked to Justin Fields in the past whenever he was at Atlanta. I wonder if there's just a bunch of smoke behind the scenes. Has Artie Smith had a couple cocktails at places and been like, I love Justin Fields. Maybe. I absolutely love Justin Fields. Just like what happened with Harbaugh at the funeral, chit-chatting about Justin Herbert with Mike Greenberg. Has that been why they've been linked together?
I always thought the Artie Smith and Justin Fields link was because people saw that he could potentially fit in that offense and then also that he was from Atlanta. I thought it was just kind of a hometown thing. And Shefty said that yesterday about Mike Tomlin and Justin Fields. But then, like, this is not a Steelers move. This is not something they would normally do. And Rooney came out in his end of season press conference and said, it would be surprising if they did make headlines with a quarterback.
Oh, so Russell Wilson, who's also potentially being linked to Pittsburgh, probably not.
Ooh. Yeah, most of these are probably not.
This is the offseason.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody's getting linked to everyone.
But I mean, if Mason's gone and Mitch is gone, you're gonna have to. You can't just have one quarterback going into next year, and you're not gonna bring in a bunch of slapdicks either. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the Pittsburgh Steelers do because Steelers fans not thrilled about where they are, D-Bud.
Not at all. And obviously the biggest question mark there, at least for me, is still the quarterback. And you got Kenny Pickett coming back. But I think, I like Justin Fields. I think the Bears should keep him, but I think at this point it's a foregone conclusion. They're going to trade him and draft most likely.
It does feel like that's where we are at. Has anybody from the Bears alluded to that?
No, it was the whole report was about how polls, they were just gathering as much information right now before figuring out whether
locker
they're
room
going
has
to trade
been
him.
behind Fields the whole time.
And then the combine, that's when all the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably.
Hey, we have some big news potentially at Combine. Potentially. We don't know, but we think so.
Found out yesterday that it is here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, found out it is directly in the middle of when we decide to take the once-a-year break.
Yep.
Everything is happening in our city. Should have done a little more research. Sue us. Don't actually. But we're going to be cooking in there, we believe. We believe we're going to be cooking in there because all of us are going to be back. And at that point, those breaks, I get like 3 days in, and I get real antsy.
Yeah, I have a feeling this year's break's gonna be a little different after the season we had.
You think so?
I think maybe for me at least. I know it will be, but maybe you guys will be the same.
Combine though is when all the drama and all the bullshit comes out. AJ, now you want number
when
5?
All the business happens. Sorry to catch up with you. We know that's when everything happens with the agents, with the scouts, with the GMs. That's when they go talk. That's when they have these meetings, and when all of the work gets done, I feel like.
And those top 5 picks right there have a lot of power whenever they're walking around Indianapolis. Because there's a lot of franchises that are willing to do some absurd things to potentially move up. The Carolina Panthers did it just last year. A lot of people forget the Chicago Bears had the number 1 overall pick last year. They earned it. They were the worst team in all of football. They said, you know what? We suck. Let's get the number 1 overall pick. Carolina Panthers said, we got you. Traded a bunch away to get up there. Now the Carolina Panthers earned their way into the number 1 pick, and now the Chicago Bears have it back. But people do some absurd things around draft time to make their team better. There could be a lot of action coming out of the Combine.
Absurd, and everyone's so far got a high rating on those top 3 quarterbacks, which makes it even more interesting because people like to move up. And then Daniel Jeremiah tweeted that expect a lot of teams to try to move up because teams are not happy with next year's quarterback draft class, so that they want to go get their quarterback this year.
What's real?
DJ wouldn't lie to us.
No, I believe Move the Sticks is the guy.
He is, yeah.
And he said this 2 years ago during the bigger draft with all the quarterbacks, and it was Kenny Pickett's was the only first-round pick, is that's why guys traded up in the year before.
They said this year, deep O-line. Could you FaceTime Jeff Saturday again? So they say this offensive line group is the deepest it's been. But I heard just a few years ago that offensive line might be a position that becomes extinct because of the way college football has become. I wonder why it has kind of flipped a little bit, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing like a little bit of the evolution of football. We know the whole spread them out, take, half field reads in college and doing all that stuff. So like sometimes those linemen would have those big giant splits trying to the pass block, and with the RPO situation now, I think the road graders were getting kind of phased out, and I think now they're kind of coming back into style.
There was guys that weren't even in three-point stances. Yeah. Like they always talk about quarterbacks not being able to go under center or whatever, not being able to take a snap or break a huddle. It's like there's some offensive linemen that have never been in a three-point stance in high school or in college, and you talk to old school offensive linemen, it's like, what? 3 points. What do we even? How? That is offensive line.
Day one. Yeah.
Yeah, that is what offensive line football is. And it's like now it's starting to come back a little bit physical. I think that's a good take on that.
You heard what Jeff said when I asked him about getting over the hump. You got to be physical. We saw how the teams in the playoffs, most of them down to the divisional and the championship round, those were physical teams that could run the ball. And remember this offseason when the free agents started getting paid, it was a bunch of linemen that got those big bags first. The guy in Atlanta.
Denver.
Yeah, Denver. So I think it's coming back around for sure.
All right, let's go, big guys.
Here we go.
Love you, big guys.
Let's go, big guys. You need to get bigger, stronger, faster, because you're about to start pounding a rock a little bit more. All the teams that are around in the end are going big. And we'll see what that means for the defensive side, too. Some of those slower linebackers, and by slower, I mean like 4'5", 4'6". Like those guys might actually have a little bit more opportunity.